All right, we're back. We're back. It's episode 44, part 2, and whoopsie.
What's going to be the bigger whoops this week? Is it going to be losing game one, or is it going to
Oh my god, we lost our entire viewing audience. All of them are gone.
Why would you? Why would you do that?
Okay, let me explain what happened. All right. My computer is a complete piece of shit. So, and last night, like I said earlier in the podcast, or on part 1 of episode 44 of the Ramie and Drew podcast, we couldn't do it last night. We were supposed to have Sparky on to promote his new show, weekdays 2 to 5 on 12:50 a.m. The Fan. So I can't share my screen. I can't share stuff from Twitter on my screen. So I was like, here, I have a great idea. What if I zoom in to the show from my phone and try and share the screen from there? Because I put up a poll. We were talking earlier on the show about putting astroturf in my backyard. I put up a poll. I was going to share the Twitter poll. We were going to talk about it to close out the show, have some fun in the last few minutes. And then it was just a shit show. I meant to just exit the Ramie that was on the phone, but I hit end stream. So it ended the whole show. So that's what happened. And here we are. We're back, and that was embarrassing. I'm not a tech guy. All right, I'm not a tech guy. I'm trying to figure this thing out as we go here, Drew, and I'm sorry.
You're not like a lawn guy either, because you want astroturf. What do you do here?
So the Bucks and the Pacers. I got the Bucks, but I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a little bit of doubt here and thinking that the Pacers could pull this thing off because of what we saw in the regular season. We've said it before. I wouldn't be shocked by a first round exit. I wouldn't be shocked if they came out of the East.
But how did the Pacers beat us in all those games? Do you remember? Jumping passing lanes.
Yep.
Getting out in transition. Just moving the ball around and just making our old slow legs work.
And Dame was not good in a lot of the games against the Pacers.
No, he wasn't. And it's just Halliburton's had some ankle issues and stuff. Like, Dame should be able to navigate this. Like, he's a better player than all of them. Like, it's just like I said, you're at a 1. I'm at a 6 of confidence, but I'm not comfortable.
Oh no, I wasn't talking about my confidence. I was talking about how good I like in terms of how happy I am. Confidence probably weighs into it, but like how happy I am, how much I could be enjoying this thing. I guess confidence plays a part in it too. But even when I talk about my confidence, I'm talking about my confidence to come out of the Eastern Conference. I feel really good about beating the Pacers in the first round, but there is a little bit of doubt in the back of my mind about it. And I think most people who say that there isn't are probably lying.
Yeah, and the Pacers, I mean, they put up like 156 points or something yesterday? Like, yeah, coming in, they got to be feeling good about themselves. And they honestly got to be, they got to be just like foaming at the mouth ready for this one. Because it's like they got to at least be like, we did this to them 4 times in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the Bucks are going to have to come out and really punch them in the mouth on our home court. And then the other thing that really sucks now, because not getting the 2 seed, you're facing Boston in the second round. So
yeah,
it would be nice to have a dominant series against the Pacers. It'd be really nice. I know that's asking for a lot to be like, you should beat this. The Bucks are talented enough top to bottom to beat this team 4-0.
Yep.
Send
Absolutely.
them home court. Just
absolutely.
Pack your fucking bags and walk down the street. That's what they can do to that
again.
team.
Wouldn't be shocked if they exit in the first round. Wouldn't be shocked if they come out of the East. You mentioned Boston. We should just run down how the Eastern. Most people who are listening to us probably know, but how the Eastern Conference finished out with the first round playoff matchups will be Boston. Obviously, was the 1 seed. They will get whoever comes out of the play-in tournament, right? Of Philadelphia, Miami, Chicago, and Atlanta. I don't know who you got coming out. Do you have a pick on who's coming out of that thing? I got Philly, quite frankly.
Yeah, it's gonna be Philly. I think Philly.
Oh no, I'm sorry. They'll get
or no, they'll get the 8 seed. So
yeah, they'll get the 8 seeds.
I don't know. I can see it being Philly. I can see Miami because it's Miami and Philly, right, against each other for the 7 seed.
The way it works, and I was confused about this for a while. 7 plays 8. Winner of that is the 7 seed. Loser of that plays the loser of the 9-10. So whoever loses will play the loser of Chicago and Atlanta. The winner of that game is the 8 seed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So because the 8, whoever's gonna win the 8 seed has to win 2 games. Whoever the 7 seed wins 1. No, so Philly. I could see Miami beating Philly and being the 7 seed. Whoever, Miami or Philly, is going to beat Chicago or Atlanta. Like, those 2 teams are just trash.
I agree. It's just a matter of who's 7 and who's 8. Either way, I think Boston has a dogfight ahead of them, and then the Knicks will get the other one. And again, it'll probably be Philly or Miami. The Bucks are playing the Pacers, and then this is I think a fun series of two young teams in the Eastern Conference that are kind of up and coming with Cleveland and Orlando. I think that could be a fun series to watch right there.
I think that's going to be a close series, honestly. I mean, Cleveland should take it, but
yep.
I mean, I do really like Donovan Mitchell. I think that he could just torch them, but you never know. Also, like Banchero, like if you get in Banchero's face a little bit, like he's getting there to be like that, like kind of all-star level, but like I don't know, like he's still young. This is his 2nd year, and I really like the bigs from Cleveland. I think those guys can bother him a lot and take away a lot of his shots. And as we saw, Orlando's not good in the half court. They're a really bad shooting team.
Yeah.
So
they're big good, and they're athletic, and they could cause some problems for some teams. We saw them cause some problems for the Bucks. And also, speaking of the Celtics, our guy Nick Cattles of the Nick Cattles podcast, he talks a lot about those Celtics. My former co-host in Sacramento, big Boston guy. He says, your guys better be ready to defend at their highest level, or they'll give up 130 a night against that Pacers team. And he's right, man. That's a Pacers team that can score, and it's not going to be a cakewalk for the Bucks.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the other thing, too, is it doesn't even have to be the highest level. They have to defend adequately, but that offense needs to be what this offense was designed to be. That offense needs to be also the 120, 125 point per game offense, efficient, no 2 for 14s anymore, no foul merchant hunting, none of that crap. It's got to be good offense. Because you know what? I made this argument all the way back in January. If Damian Lillard is going to go 2 for 14 and play no defense, Drew Holiday was the guy we should have kept. He needs to score. That's it. I don't give a shit about Damian Lillard's defense.
That's why he was brought here. And hopefully, I know it's gotten cliche, and I've heard Bart mocking this, and he's mocking a lot of people, but me indirectly when he does it. But I get it. The whole flip the switch thing. You do got to hope that, that killer comes out. And it's not like we haven't seen that side of Dame at all this season. We just haven't seen it enough. We haven't seen it night in, night out enough. You would hope that the playoffs just brings that dude out in him and on a consistent basis. And you can count on it being there just about every game of the playoff. Guys will have off nights in the playoffs. And if Dame has an off night, it's nice that you have a Giannis in God's graces. You have a healthy Giannis out there, and you have a healthy Chris out there. If that's the case, if any one of those guys has an off night, those other 2 guys can sort of pick up the slack. But it's got to be on a more regular basis if they're going to make a deep playoff run than what we saw throughout the regular season.
I think Dame's got to score 25 a night in these playoffs because Giannis, is going to be the one that Giannis is going to get his.
Yep.
Remember when the Celtics fans all were like, "Oh, Al Horford locked up Giannis and he dropped like 37 points per game." Yeah, you really locked him up.
Yeah,
it was the rest of that team that couldn't score worth a shit. So it's just
we do both got to run. We're both taking the Bucks, right? Do you have a number? Bucks and 5, Bucks and 6. I'm gonna say Bucks and 6.
I'm gonna go 5 because you know what? They're going to come back from whatever little sabbatical they're on, and they're going to be focused and ready to go.
I got Bucks and 6. I do want to share the results and comments so far on the AstroTurf poll. I won't try to share the screen again and tank the whole show again, but Jordan Love Bookmarks says, take it one step further, hashtag put a roof on it. I knew I was going to get a put a roof on it. And you know what? Not a terrible idea. If not a roof, maybe some canopies, you know, like those canvas canopies that you see in like beer gardens and patios at bars. You know what I'm talking about? To get a little shade or a little block from the rain. Jay Zilla says, aren't you worried about your dog's ACL? Says Eddie Airbud golden receiver aspirations can evaporate in an instant if he takes a bad turn on that turf. That's fair, but also my dog in dog years is 91 years old. Like, any hopes of professional football or even college football are kind of out the window at this point. I think his eligibility window has closed. He's up there, man. He's up there in years. Still moves great. Has a lot and strong, great energy. Drew, you've seen him recently. You wouldn't know he's 13, but I'm just saying, I don't think he's going pro anytime soon.
Yeah, no, he can run for president. Him and Pat McAfee.
Aaron says it's great, but get the good stuff. Jake says only people who the poll question was, just to be exact, I said thinking about putting AstroTurf in my backyard. Yes, great idea. No, tacky and lazy. Jake says only people who answer tacky and lazy are the guys who are out mowing their lawn 3 times a week and make it part of their personality. He's right. You know, I brought this up. I was at a friend's house yesterday in Chicago, one of my oldest friends in the world, and he has a very nice house and a very nice yard, and he enjoys gardening and landscaping, and it all looks very beautiful, and I commend him for it, but he enjoys it. I don't like all the uptake, I shouldn't be a homeowner. I really shouldn't, and I know that, and I'll tell people that I shouldn't be a homeowner, but I am, and I want it to be as easy as possible, and I think it'll still look pretty dang good, Drew.
Yeah. I mean, I said tacky and lazy, and I live on the second floor of a condo. So,
Laird of Glencoe says, was thinking about that last year, stayed with sod. Dog is in the process of ruining the sod. The field turf goes next. And Maddie Icicles says, do it. Post a pic if you do. I want to use it to sway my wife over to the field turf. So I'm not the only one.
You know, the worst way possible for you to convince your wife of anything is going to be, hey, these guys I was listening to on a podcast, you won't even finish this argument. She's going to be like, no. And you're getting a divorce.
And the results of the poll so far, finally, are 55% say no, tacky and lazy, and 45% say yes, great idea. That's not a wide margin. We still have a long ways to go, and 45% are saying that it's actually a great idea, and I actually might do it, Drew. When we get off, I'm going to send you pictures of what it looks like in the advertisements, and I think you'll come around to my side of this.
All right. You want to just quickly mention how the Brewers took 2 or 3 from the Orioles? That was fun.
That was fun. And by the way, wait, the Orioles are the one we haven't talked about the Brewers in a minute. The Orioles are the ones that were upset with Willy Adames for just hitting a home run, right? I didn't see anything. Okay. Why is everybody so sensitive?
I was up north. I was up at the cabin. We had to turn the water on and everything. So like we went up to this little shitty bar up there right by the cabin, like up in like Rome, Wisconsin. All right. Like we're at this bar.
I don't know where that is. I choose to believe it's not a real place, but go ahead.
It was built in a day. They had this game. They had the game on, and I was like staring at the TV, like I was like the only one like watching it, because like everyone else there doesn't know what the Hitty Sticks ball game is. Like they don't know what that is up there. They haven't.
Yeah.
Great White North. So I'm like watching the game. Like I didn't understand what happened, and what I think it was, Willie didn't stand in the box all that long. You know, he kind of watched his home run, but everyone sort of does. Like he cranked it. But I think it was the skip and the flip a little bit that McCann took exception to.
Dude, in 2024, you're taking exception with a skip and guys are launching bats into orbit to celebrate home runs and doing dances around third base. You're upset about a skip and a flip?
Dude, I'm all for it, honestly. And then that Willie stood in there, and basically when McCann had something to say to him, he was like, "Fuck you, make your pitcher throw better." I'm like, "Yeah, Willie, let's go."
Exactly. Yeah.
As I said, I'm buying stock in Willie Adames every week right now. I'm like, all
yeah,
right.
You're back. You're on the Willie wagon, huh?
I am on the Willie wagon. I can be brought back. You
can be swayed. Drew has been swayed onto the Willie wagon.
I like a lot of what I've seen out of Willie. And also, like, okay, Yelich went down with a little bit of a back strain or a little tightness or something like that. And the guys they slotted in there played great. Blake Perkins played great this series. He had, he was doing a lot of stuff out there. He was, I'm having more fun watching this team because I have no expectations. And then every time they do something great, I'm like, hell yeah, that was a good couple hours of my time. I liked it. So
who would have thought? Who would have thought Drew would be riding the Willie wagon, just eating up Willie, just eating up Willie.
Yep, I'm all about Willie.
All right,
I'm not buying a jersey. I wouldn't if they were still Nike ones. I wouldn't buy them. But now,
what if our first merch for the Ramie and Drew show was T-shirts that said "Ride the Willie wagon"?
By Fanatics. The letters are all going to be weird looking. You're gonna be able to see through it. It's gonna be like those like mesh shirts that people wear to rain. It's gonna be like that. That's what Fanatics basically is.
I still can't believe that they can't get jerseys right. Like again, I'm not gonna go on a whole thing. We do got to wrap this up, but the simplest things Major League Baseball just can't even get right. But so far, so good. And for both our baseball teams, Drew, I can't wait till this thing comes to a head. And those two teams, the Cubs and the Brewers, that is, are playing some like seriously meaning and competitive series later in the season. It's gonna be really, really fun, and especially here on this show. Any final thoughts before I wrap up episode 44 of Ramie and Drew? No, you're good. Got it all out.
Yeah, I got it all
right. That's Drew Flaggy. I'm Ramie Makloff. We're Ramie and Drew. This has been a 2-part episode of Ramie and Drew, episode 44. We'll talk to you again soon. See you then.